Hi, I'm Carrie.
I'm Chemda.
And we are Gilmore Friends. Welcome to episode 5, everybody.
All right. I saw your faces during episode 5, and I loved them.
You loved my faces?
I love your faces. Some disgust, some
horror.
Yeah, some of that.
Some terror.
Because my big worry is that this show is so known for speaking fast and having a lot of stuff and so much fandom and 25 years of like, we can't get over it and discussions and everything like that. And I'm watching it going like, oh, this is in 2005. So, and this is like one at a time. This isn't bingey. It's not as fast as like current day information. No one's jumping into bed with each other. Like, I feel like, well, now I sound so conservative. And also, I feel like I sound more and more conservative. Like, I feel like I used to watch the show, and last episode, I was like, well, Lorelai should know better, and blah, blah, blah. I feel like I used to say, yeah, get her. That's your daughter, and she's fantastic, and you chew everybody's heads off. Like, you know better. You're her mother. Like, all this stuff. And now I'm like, you should know better. You're her mother. And I'm like, who said that? You know?
Yeah.
So I was a little... after we recorded last time, I was a little like, oh my God, am I getting old? Like, obviously I am. Okay, I'll get over it. Anyway,
now we have friends who are Rory's age, you know? So we're seeing how difficult it is to raise a kid, let alone a teenager. And like, Rory's a really good kid as you know,
right, like someone with a sense of humor, like Rory
so like
has.
I'm identifying more with the mother now because even though I very vividly remember being 14, 15, 16, I think now that I have friends who have kids that are that age, I'm like, well, you can't do that with a teenager, you know, like in my head, because like it's easy to raise someone else's kids.
Oh, yeah, it's easy to point out all of the things that parents are A, B, and C.
Yeah, and the fact that neither of us have children make us more expert than anyone who's actually had a kid. But, so I identify more with Lorelai. Like, it's harder dating when you're a grown-up, you know?
And also, I feel like we always need to remember, first of all, this is 25 years ago. Second, she had a kid when she was 16.
Right.
So... she's now still so young, even though she's a fully grown adult. Her kid's almost an adult. So she's got like a lot going on. And may I say that we were encouraged to be like Lorelai, you know, but like in certain ways, in certain times, I mean, like we can be that amongst each other. We could be like feisty and whatever, but then, you know, behave when it came to, hey, we're in mixed company where, I don't know. I think I'm projecting.
Right.
I'm projecting. I just realized that because I saw your face. I feel like TV encouraged women to be sassy and comebacky and whatever, but behind the scenes, we were like, hey, be feminine. Femininity meant, you know, more quiet,
demure,
a little slower. Yeah. So that was, you know, the cool girl was Lorelai.
Right.
So
yeah, she does have very cool girl vibes.
Yeah.
Because we're seeing glimpses of the other parents at Chilton, and they're stuck up jerks. Like they're not fun.
Well, they're just parents, and that's what parents needed to be back then. Like, you were just so-and-so's parent. You didn't have hobbies. You didn't have, like, interests.
You didn't have your own life. You didn't have a complicated dating story.
Right. Yeah, so, you were married because you were waiting for the kid to go to college. You know?
Yeah.
Okay,
so the episode starts out with this
horribly
awkward
the cold open situation, right?
Cold open. Your father's in Germany. And then the mom made a joke, and she just did it very deadpan, and it totally got Lorelai, and I enjoyed that quite a bit.
Yeah.
And then they have this horribly awkward bake sale. Did your school have bake sales? I don't think I've only ever seen bake sales on screen, movie, TV. I
don't remember a bake sale. I don't remember needing to provide for a bake sale, but I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember like needing to raise money, but I wasn't in groups that raised money. I wasn't doing any sports. which I think is what they raised money for. I wasn't selling candy bars.
You weren't like a cheerleader who needed to like wash cars in a bikini to earn money for your high school. This is something else I've seen on screen that I've never. It's like a different universe to me.
What was it in what's the cheerleader movie? Oh my God, it's one of the best, the greatest. Well, anyway, she goes. Her brother comes by and they're washing cars in their bikinis, and he goes, "What are you doing? Yeah, bring it on." Oh my God,
it's such a good movie.
I hate that I love it. I've watched it a million times.
Oh, it's so good. Are you kidding?
So good. And
so good.
And like, do not disturb me when they're doing cheerleading. Do not disturb me. I need to watch every moment of it. It's so freaking good.
Yeah.
I said burr. Okay. What was my point here?
That in the movie they're doing a bikini.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So the brother comes by and goes, "What are you doing?" And she goes, whatever, washing cars while guys ogle my goodies." And I'm like, okay, that is actually what's happening.
Yeah. I mean, everyone knows that. It's not like, oh, we just really need to get these cars cleaned. Like, what? No. But so like that, and like the other fundraising things like in schools are like bake sales and like a charity event, blah, blah, blah. My school didn't do that. I don't know why. I think because there's already too much going on. But of course, Sookie set something on fire. Mm-hmm. Have you ever used one of those little handheld blowtorches to burn the top of a creme brulee? I
would probably Sookie it. I'm nervous about me in the kitchen like that.
I have used one of those tiny blowtorches to caramelize the top of a creme brulee, and I got to say, it's pretty fun.
Yeah,
it's pretty amazing. I think you would like
breaking
it.
through that is so fun. Yeah, I should do that. Yeah, I'm good with fire. No, I'm not. I have set kitchen stuff on fire, just like a grease fire or something that goes out like pretty quickly. I feel like I'm in the kitchen a lot, so it might happen, or maybe I'm giving myself an out. But when we're camping, I can move those logs with my hands.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, we've been camping, and I see you control a fire. You're not like, ooh, let me eat it. You're like
I play Jingo with that fire. I love it. I love fire. I wish I could sit right in a fire, like on it.
Yeah.
So good. All right. Okay, so
did you see Element, the Pixar movie? Is it Pixar? It's one of the characters is made of fire, and she can sit in fire, and it's really cool.
That's me.
That's you. I thought it was weird that Dean, the cutie from her old school, follows her onto the bus. Doesn't he have to pay?
That was cute. Why don't you think any Dean stuff is cute?
I think because you have to pay for the bus.
I'd never thought of that. It is a very, very good point. I know he doesn't have a bus pass. I used to have a bus pass because I had to take 2 buses to school.
Yeah.
But he probably lives across the street. So it's like a local school. I don't know how he got on.
I mean, he paid. Paying. He must have paid the fare to get on.
But isn't that romantic?
I mean, yeah. But then Rory is, and I understand, like, okay, this is the dating episode, right? This is the relationship-y episode where we get into both of their romantic lives a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. I feel like that's the focus, yeah.
And they're both so painfully awkward. Actually, everyone involved is so painfully awkward.
Except for Dean, who is just cruising.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's so cool.
Yeah, but I think it's so funny that you're like, what is happening? And I'm like, were you never like this? And from what I remember, I couldn't look boys in the eye. Like, they were so alien to me that this is how I responded to boys. I know it is. Because I identify with how she's responding, and she's such a smart person, and she's just like, no, yes, I gotta go. But I feel like that was me, and if I even said those words, most of that was just happening inside my head, and you just saw a blank face. But you were not like that?
I don't think I was like that. We'd have to ask someone who knew me in high school. I feel like I would just, I would probably do more of a Lorelai thing and start rambling.
Okay.
Like I was trying to be witty, or like try to be funny, or like try to be quirky, or, you know, like.
I mean, I got there, but we have to believe that this is kind of the first guy that Rory ever was interested in, ever really spoke to, ever really got hit on like for real as a high school, you know?
Right.
Not like Tristan and his Mary bullshit.
Right.
So this is the first time, like, eventually I got the hang of it, and, you know, I never smoked a cigarette, but I kind of felt like I was doing that sometimes. Like, I felt like I was cool at some point. But when I first was talking to guys, I remember this one guy was asking me out. Oh, here's what the 80s sitcoms did to me. A guy was asking me out, and anytime a guy would do that, I'm like, oh, he's joking. I'm going to say yes, and then everyone will come out and laugh at me. Because that was a lot of like Revenge of the Nerds. Do you remember that?
Yes.
She hit on him until he got a boner and then got everyone to come around and laugh. I always thought that it's like, oh yeah, like I would really ask you out. So I was always like, ha ha, very funny.
Yeah.
I mean, know
one of the most damaging things that ever happened to me in junior high school was I had a crush on a guy, and a friend of mine paid him to ask me out. And he didn't want to ask me out, but he wanted the money. So he did, collected the money, and then canceled. And
Who
I
is
found
this
out.
Friend?
Yeah, no, not a good friend. And
No.
and then from then on, I was like, I mean, that'll give you trust issues for like a dude asking you out. But I don't feel like people asked each other out like officially. Like
that was in my head. I'm like, well, first of all, who's doing that? And then second, who's doing that to me? So I just thought everyone was joking.
I always felt like we hung out in like little groups, right?
And like, then oops, you kissed someone.
Yeah, or no, not oops, you kissed someone, but someone would like hang back and talk to you a little longer. You know, like you're hanging out in like a group of like, I don't know, 12 people, right? And it's like 6 girls and 6 guys, and you're all like getting high and watching movies or whatever, right? And then like
in high school?
Yeah.
You were getting high in high school? You were so much cooler than me, but I feel like we would hang.
I mean, but the weed was really different.
Cool. No, it's not cool.
It's not cool.
It's not cool.
It was illegal. But suddenly you'd find yourself talking to a guy longer. Like the groups would like, I don't know, and you'd like end up talking way longer, and you'd be like, oh wow, he's really cool, and then he'd be thinking she's really cool. You know, I don't think it was like a cute, like a meet cute, like it isn't on screen.
Yeah.
Where you like run into someone, you're like, oh my God, our dog's tangled leashes. Now our eyes met. I don't think it's like that. Or it wasn't for me.
I do think that is so much more comfortable is to already be in a social atmosphere and just kind of like, oh, now we're talking a little bit more. Or yeah, it's so much more comfortable than, would you like to go sit and eat a meal and find out if you like me?
We weren't doing that. Yeah. I had a guy, this is awful, but I found it flattering at the time. I was hanging out with a bunch of friends, and there was some new people there, and we were all hanging out, and I got up to like, I don't know, leave the room for whatever reason, and one of the guys called dibs on me. And my friend was in there. She was still in the room, and she came back and she was like, you know, he just called dibs on you. And I was like, what? Oh my God. I found it so flattering. It's so messed up. It's not how I recommend we treat people. But at the time I was like, he felt the need to call dibs because he thinks I'm such a hot commodity that he's got to like, and yeah, I dated that guy. You know?
Did you? I mean, I get why you would find that flattering. In a sense it is, but in like I'm going to throw up after this sense, but like.
Yeah, but he was complimenting me when I wasn't in the room.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, at the time I found it a compliment. Yes, because I grew up on 80s movies.
Right, exactly. So we're at the bake sale. At
the bake sale, when Max says, I always find this line very creepy, and then he does immediately ask her out, so it's not as creepy. But when a guy says to you, a guy that you aren't, he goes, I'd like us to be friends. I find that line sets up my spidey sense for like creeper. When a guy says, I'd like us to be friends.
But see, okay, and I can understand that because 80s movies and that's how you actually were hitting on people. You were pretending to want to be friends.
But he does ask her out right then. If he had then pretended to be her friend, that would have annoyed me more. I'd like us to be friend. You know, do you want to hang out outside? And she goes, then she has to say, you mean like a date? And then he has to go, yeah. And I think that's so awkward.
But so in this context, I thought, I want us to be friends is because she was pissed at him, and that's the last feeling, and she's holding on to it. So I could understand like wanting to warm up the relationship between your student and between student's mom and you. But I always thought it was very strange. Like maybe I fell for it that he was just trying to warm up the relationship that needed to happen. That she was like, no, Mr. Medina. She was very adamant about like, I don't like you. I don't like how you treat my child. And I don't like how, like she felt like he turned on her when so to go from that so quickly into, I'm interested in you. I was like, and this is so controversial. And I'm so scared to talk about Max in the way that I feel about him because I know that Gilmore fans are a lot of them are very in love with Max. So, but I feel like I didn't get any chemistry there. I didn't believe that she was actually attracted to him. He annoyed me, and I don't know. And then her softening up so quickly, I was surprised.
She does melt pretty quickly and like she had so many reservations about going out with him that he just dismissed.
But reservations that made sense. Yeah. I mean, think about it. In the first or second episode, I think, when they were running to school, she ran into Chilton dad and was like, hey, I don't date Chilton dads. Like, I don't want to complicate my life. You're in my
showed up
kids'
at her inn.
Yeah.
These people.
And she found him very attractive and all of that. And she really likes like uppity. But anyway, so I found it really weird for her to warm up so quickly when she was like a hard no to this other guy. I think a teacher is worse than a father.
I absolutely think a teacher is worse than a father.
And she was right to be like, hey, this school doesn't even allow people to be late. They don't allow special, forgiveness about things. You think they're going to forgive you knowing that you are dating someone's mom? Like, that doesn't seem...
Yeah. And then when the other students find that out and like...
Well, he said he's going to be subtle.
I mean, yes, but eventually they're going to figure it out. I mean...
Yeah, like, will it take you the 2 years or so? That I don't know if she has 2 or 3 years
left.
He
said he would be really discreet, and then it took 2 seconds for Rory to find out.
Right.
All right, you suck at being discreet. Right. You came to my door... Okay.
Well, she invited him. That's not his fault.
Yeah. No, I know. So I wrote down in my notes, don't date the teacher. Just don't do it. I had cute teachers growing up. My mom was single. And like she'd go to parent teacher night and I'd be like, isn't he hot? And mom would go, yup. And then it's dropped. Like, you don't date the teacher. You just don't do it. I mean,
would you have given the okay to your mom?
No. No, you're not dating my teacher. It's gross. It's no bueno. I mean, wait till I'm out of the school. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, get in touch, make friends if you have to, but like, no, he's not coming over to my house.
Oof, yeah. Oof. I remember my friend's mom was somebody in my grade was my teacher, and then she was my friend also, so I would go to her house. And this woman was such a sweetheart, so sweet. But I was uncomfortable around adults. This was 3rd grade. And she's like, it's all right. You're at my house now. Like, feel comfortable. Have something to drink. Have something to eat. And I was like Rory. Except less talkative. I was so shy and so embarrassed that and she said that, I think she told me when I was older, because my mom kept friends with her. So she told me when I was older that she would like leave the premises, like leave my eyesight so that I can like find a way to relax in her home. Yeah, she was very sweet. I mean, sad. You raise a quiet, shy kid and they're
to be
just
afraid of
awkward.
Authority.
Yeah, very much.
No, I was not afraid of authority in that same way. Like, or as my
mom envied that.
My mom had to put it to one of my teachers. And this is a quote that we still quote in the family. She spends a lot of time around adults, which was very funny because my teachers were complaining that I was not afraid of them and that I would speak to them like a peer. and they wanted me to have a little more respect for the authority of being a teacher, and I wasn't doing that enough. And my mom was like, she spends a lot of time around adults. So
God, I love your mom. Oh
yeah.
my God.
I could treat adults pretty normally, but some of them, but that doesn't mean I want you in my house or to hang out with my mom or like.
Yeah, that is.
I mean, I don't know. If it had actually come up, I'm trying to think now. If it had actually come up, it probably would have been fine, because I did want my mom to find somebody, and if it was if it was a teacher I liked, I might have thought it was fine. And
wouldn't it be a teacher you liked? Like, I don't.
Yeah.
Right, like, because your mom and you are pretty
similar taste in dudes,
or like you're cool, like. I don't, do you have similar taste in dudes?
I mean, I don't. Well, we talked about this like early on, that like I don't see my mom picking out a bad, ugly jerk dude for me. Like if people like my mom's can't pick my dates, and I thought about it really hard, and I was like, I don't think my mom would pick a bad dude for me if it was up to her. It's not, absolutely not. But I don't. And if I was going to choose a dude for my mom to date, I wouldn't pick a
right.
you know.
Yeah. You guys have.
I'd pick a nice taste. Guy, hottie, smart, classy nerd, you know?
Yeah, and then so people like me respond like Rory in the market. You know, obviously I've gotten past that. I'm an adult. I was very quiet, then I got too loud. And then the pendulum swung a little bit.
You've back mellowed. Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. Somebody else has to tell me. It can't be
funny.
me, right?
I've gotten quieter too in my elder years.
Yeah, you kind of pick and choose a little bit more, you know, because you're like, maybe my opinion is not that fantastic. But anyway, Rory, I thought was so cute in the market. I think that is how children first flirt, when you don't have that back and forth.
Yeah, but she's also spent her lifetime watching her mom talk to dudes.
Yeah.
You know, like she hasn't picked up any kind of her mom's charm or witty or banter. Or is it that her mom isn't there and she can't, you know, like she's watched. I
don't think that's hereditary. I think that.
No, but observation. She's observed her mom be adorable to men for her whole life.
But think about it. Like at her age, she was pregnant. At Rory's age, this is the first time she's talking to a guy she likes. There's a difference in experience here.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know that I don't know that you could just copy it. I don't know.
When she finally meets the teacher, I wrote this down. After I wrote "Don't date the teacher," they finally meet for coffee, and he's like, he comes on pretty strong. I think we should date. And then she says, "Do you like rap?" And he says, "Yes." And then she says, "Do you like Italian food?" And I wrote down, everyone likes Italian food.
I think she was laying him up. She's like, let's have a conversation. Convince me that there's more than negative reasons why we should get together. Because right now we're only talking about why we shouldn't.
Right.
Let's see what we have in common. Let me lay you up. And really, he said he's only saying yes because he knows that's what she wanted to hear, which I think is so gross. And then he says like, oh, but doesn't that mean I know you because I know what you want to hear? And I'm like, how is that a reason? Then he tells that uncle story. Then she goes, is that real? And he doesn't even answer that, meaning it's probably fake. So all you did was sit there and lie?
Yeah.
How is that charming?
Yes.
Because it's the year 2000?
It's exactly,
is that why?
That's the thing. It's the charm offensive. He's like love bombing her, you know? Like he's just telling her what she wants to hear, making up stories about like how he can't let it go, which I think is very creepy and like not cool. Also, I don't see a lot of chemistry. I hope it gets better. I feel like these actors just met each other the day of that shoot, you know, and they don't like each other. I'm not feeling the
I agree. And other Gilmore friends, please do not take this personally. I wrote down.
Maybe I'll warm up to him. I'm saying this is my first. I'm willing to warm up to him. I think when people are commenting on him, I'm sure he does something soon that'll make me love him. But
in the meantime, we both made a face at the end of that. We both made a face at the end of that scene,
the coffee scene,
and then I wrote, tread lightly because people love him.
All right, well, first of all, that's a spoiler. And once again, you have failed to not give me a spoiler. because I didn't know that people love him. He could have never been seen again on the show.
Okay.
Like the one guy who met her in the coffee shop on the first scene of the first episode. We never see him again.
All right, you're right. Okay,
so thank you for the spoiler that we all love Max. So I'm willing to have my mind changed. I think that this is the growing up on movies that like guys need to be really pushy.
Yes.
And that women find that charming. And I think with the wisdom that has come from the last 25 years, this isn't really as adorable as it once was when men are super persistent.
But let's face it, that is how they, not just in the movies, that is how they were telling men to pursue women and boys to pursue girls.
Yeah.
And it is how they were. I mean, I was told, like, do you know how, so if you want to convert to Judaism, you have to like go like 3 times because they're going to say no to you. They're going to reject you. I was told to act sort of like you're trying to be a Jew.
Oh.
Like you got to reject it. Or like that people are trying to be Jew. You got to reject it. They got to keep coming at you. And so when somebody doesn't keep coming at you.
Play hard to get.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
I didn't.
Or you're a slut and God forbid you were that. You know, God forbid, like it down to, I swear, like when I first had an experience, you know, like a little session, I was like, oh my God.
What, like podcasting?
Well, no, see, the thing is I wasn't kissing. I got felt up. And which is a
you
really
got felt
weird
up before you
time.
started kissing?
Yes. It was very strange. It was a weird circumstance.
You skipped right to second base.
I was like, this is not how I wanted things to go. But I was like, oh, that actually felt good. And I was shocked because I thought this whole time we would be doing this for the boys. Like I would have, that's how it was depicted. I was like, oh, I will eventually say yes to the person that, you know, I deem is worthy of this because I said no enough. And I was completely shocked that I was like, oh, this is for me too. Oh no.
Oh yeah, right, exactly. No, we figured out pretty early that fooling around feels good.
I didn't know.
That's
I thought it would
insane,
only feel,
and that's horrible, and that's a disservice.
That's what they were teaching.
That sex is something you give to someone else when you feel that they are worthy.
Right.
But
when they've asked enough, when they did enough, when they were
enough. You have
enough.
to play hard to get, because if you don't play hard to get, you're a slut.
You're
and
loose.
If you do play too hard to get, you're a prude. And you can't be a prude either.
Fun, right?
No, it's bad.
Yeah, this was real. It's very interesting to me that Lorelai and Rory are great friends who tell each other everything, except for when things are hard to say. So much so that your teacher's on your doorstep.
Yes. Can you imagine? I felt for Rory in that scene where she's like, "What in the ever-living? Yeah, what is going on?" That would really spook me if I was a kid and my teacher just showed up at my house. And then the neighbor's cat died. I guess this is the B plot. And like I have had a cat die, and I know that it is one of the greatest pains. I might even tear up talking about remembering it. Mm-hmm. And so I am empathetic to that. However, on this show, they made it hysterical.
It was quaint. It's a small town, and
this was a beloved cat
and a beloved couple.
Yes,
and they're like major players in the small town.
And then I laughed out loud when the friend was asking Rory, so the cat slid across the floor. Did you laugh? She's like, no. I was like, finally.
But then did you hear her say, "Did you want to?" And
did you
Rory
want to?
Said yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was very funny. And I don't think did they put a white sheet over a cat when it dies? Does the animal hospital do that? I don't think they do that. I think they do that because they can't.
For us.
I know there was. I mean, but like they do that. I don't know. I thought that was very funny. That like I'm like, oh, you made a cat death hysterical.
Meanwhile, I thought my favorite line from this was, "I've been memorabling you all week."
Who says that?
She says it to Max. Oh, you don't remember me. I've been remembering you all week. God, I said it bad, so it's
That's what he says to her?
He said, "Oh, you didn't even remember me," because she said, "Oh, I forgot that it was Thursday and you're coming." All right.
Oh, I've been right. When he shows up at the door.
See, this is why Lauren Graham is so good.
I was horrified that she forgot the date and told him that.
Right? You could have kept that to yourself.
You could have let him not know that you forgot.
Like straight up forgot. Say you forgot it was Thursday, not you forgot that he was coming. Come on.
Yeah, or that you got super distracted by the death of this beloved town cat.
Right.
But like to say, I forgot. Mm-hmm. Also, this is a pet peeve of mine, and I'm going to get into it.
Speaking of pets,
Speaking of pets, here's my peeve. If you cancel on someone, it is on you to throw the first volley to reschedule.
Yeah.
She does not do that.
Right.
This is so annoying to me. He drove out of his way. He shows up at her door. She's like, I'm canceling minute of date.
Yeah.
And then she says, call me and we'll reschedule. No. You canceled. You reschedule. I'm so sorry. I can't do it tonight. How about Monday, Tuesday? Like you give the first volley for when are we rescheduling?
I'm going to say fair on that one. Yep.
It's my
you
pet
can keep
peeve.
peeving for that.
I'm peeving hard.
Leave it up. Yeah.
And this is part of this ethos of like the men have to do the planning for the date and the men have to be the aggressive one. When I have canceled dates in my long life of dating and I had been looking forward to, like I'm legit sick or like something legit happens, I make it very clear that I do still want to go out with you. I'm not pretending. And the way I make that clear is by offering two alternative dates.
I think that's beautiful. And I think that you should do that with friends too, which I'm sure you
always,
do.
Always.
Like, yeah, but I think Lorelai is depicted as open and forward, and even saying, call me, I am interested, is forward.
Right.
Ish.
Sure.
For the time.
But if you were that guy, I would be like, it's not happening. You know? Like,
and he did turn around and leave.
Yeah. I was on his side when he turned around and left. I'm like, I would do that too. Like I was like, all right, he got the hint. Because she's giving all kinds of reservations about the thing, and then she cancels minute of
because of a cat.
Because of a cat funeral. I'd be like, all right, I get it. You're not interested. Then paralleling this story, we have the youngsters story.
Yes.
Where Dean says, what does he say?
He apologizes.
He apologized. Right. He starts with, I'm sorry. And says,
I've been pushing you, right?
I've been pushing you. And I realize now you're not interested and I'm going to stop. And then she goes, wait, I am interested. And then runs away.
I love that scene. Do you not love that scene? First of all,
it's so painful though.
But it's so perfect of him. He was like, hey, I thought you were playing along. I thought you were interested. And since I see that you're not interested, I could see how now I'm just looking like menacing or threatening and he apologized.
Right.
I thought that was
very self-aware, very woke. We're very woke of Dean in that moment to be like, I can tell you're not into it. But
her running away is so perfect.
All right, so wait, I am relating. I did once tell a guy that I liked him and then hang up on him immediately.
Yay.
Because the awkwardness of that pause, it'd be like, I like you and I want to date you. And then there was a pause and I couldn't handle it.
Love it.
And I hung up.
Come on. That's great. I love that.
Because like, it's too much. I can't with this.
I wonder if everyone has had that. Like, I really want to know what other people's experiences when they first were dating or first were interested in someone. Obviously, it doesn't have to be like just boys and girls, but it's like when you found out that you were interested and you didn't know how to flirt yet and you didn't know how to show someone you're interested, but you wanted it, but you didn't want to like be too forward. Like, what does everybody hang up on everybody? Because I think it's perfectly reasonable.
I think it happens very differently now because you and I didn't have smartphones.
I don't know how people are swiping. I sound so old.
No, it's not swiping. I think this all happens. This same kind of awkward interactionness happens, but I think it's texting or it's online or in some version of the written word, like passing notes, but it's digital. So I think this is how the kids are dating and relating and mating. These dating, relating, and mating.
And adults. I think it's all terrifying. It's all terrifying because
It used to be
vulnerable.
It's so vulnerable. And you used to have to call up someone's house and then be like, hi there, Mrs. Mackey. Can I speak to John? You know?
Ugh.
And then the mom could be like, who's this? And you could be like, oh, I'm a friend of his. So, like, we don't have to do that anymore. Everyone has a smartphone. But I think it more happens in a digital realm than it does as a group of teenagers hanging out and then picking up on who's looking longer at you, you know?
Well... I don't know. The whole thing is very, very awkward.
Or like now, you would have a friend tell your friend that like someone likes you or something.
But the thing is now you have the proof,
the receipts.
Like, yeah. But it's like I don't want you to read my flirtation. I'm like 15 years old, and I'm just like I like you too. Like don't. Now you're showing people, and there's screenshots, and you can post it on Reddit and go like, "Am I overreacting? Is this chick into me?" Yeah. Like, oh, gross.
No, and then everyone online could be like, "You idiot! He likes you." Yeah. And you could be like, "Oh, I never saw it. I always thought he was just kidding." And
now you can have a whole town come behind you and be like,
"Yeah, we don't have that." I mean, we didn't have that, which I'm ever so glad we did not have the internet as it exists now when I was in high school. But I think it's still awkward. This is still part of growing up.
Yeah.
Is figuring out how to date and relate to people, friends, romantic relationships, teachers, parents, all of this. You have to learn it. You grow up. It's painful. I don't think there's anything anyone can do to make it easier. You just have to just practice. Just do it. It's like driving a stick.
I don't know how to do that.
See? I could tell you, but you still wouldn't be able to do it until you do it.
I tried. Why do you know how to drive stick? We grew up in New York.
Because my dad taught me, and my dad bought stick shifts because they were cheaper. Yeah, I know how to drive a stick. What? Also, I'm cool, girl.
Yeah, that is cool. That is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. We established
that I'm cool. Oh, I'm so happy.
And I am a dork.
It only took me this long. No, I don't want to be cool. It's too much pressure. I can't have it. Okay, the other big laugh I gave this episode was when Emily is the mom.
Yeah.
And she's
the grandma.
Like, the grandma. Raccoon's wedding. It's just so funny. She's like, what are you doing then? Going to a raccoon's wedding? And I laughed because I actually want to go to a raccoon's wedding.
Of course you do. Of course you do. And if you told me that you had been in a raccoon's wedding or attended, I'd be like, yeah, I believe you.
Doesn't that sound cute? With their little faces and their little hands.
They are with the little hands.
Their little hands, and they would hold their little rings and their little martini glasses, and they would.
We had to learn. Here's a hot tip. If you've never been camping, and we've been camping for years and years. When there are raccoons there, they usually wait until after you go to bed, and then they like scavenge and get your stuff and whatever. But if you put your zipper at the bottom, they know how to open your tent. So you have to put it up where they can't reach it.
Flap.
Yeah. Because what they did is they opened our tent, and we didn't know because we were by the fire. And then I hear something in our tent, and they took one of our pill bottles so we can hear them. And I'm like, oh no. And then we started running, but they couldn't run while they were holding it. So they dropped it. But they were like in our tent looking for stuff. Yeah.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
I remember
when cute turns terrifying.
we had the fire really low, and then you shine the flashlight up, and we could see the eyes of the raccoons in the distance
because they're waiting. They're waiting.
Right, just waiting. We're like, oh, they're over there. They're fine. And we put the flashlight down and back up, and they're like 10 feet closer.
Yeah,
and then we're like, all right, that's a little closer. And put it down, and then in a second, they're like 3 feet away from us. They're like at the fire with us,
and they're so cute that like we don't want to shoo them away. They are so cute,
but they have no fear. I mean, they are.
The thing is first of all, we're on a campground that is very friendly to animals, very chill. There's usually deer rolling around. I've even seen bears there, like just hanging out. But and it should terrify me as a person who gets terrified by animals, but because this is such a chill camping spot. But I think because we go at the end of the season, because we want it to be a little cooler and like we want nobody to be around, I think at that point they're like, come on, man, go to bed. Like, we have nobody else to steal from, and you guys are still up. Because I think usually people go with kids, like they're asleep by 8, or they're not in their tent all the time. But now it's like only us with like some other camper.
And they've had all season to get habituated to human noises. Yeah. They're not afraid of cars. They're not afraid of like the phone. They're just not, they're not afraid.
Yeah, they're practically going like, let's get it.
Yeah. They're just like looking over their glasses like, are you done yet?
It's so cute.
So I do want to go to a raccoon's wedding. I'm with Emily on that one.
A wedding, not a funeral, yeah. Oh, yeah, she said wedding, yeah.
Yeah,
I'll go. I'll go.
She was like, a cat's funeral, and then blah, blah, blah. So if I get invited to a raccoon's funeral, a raccoon's wedding, are you coming with me?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a date.
Good.
The other thing that I wrote down from that same conversation is, hold on, I'm looking up aneurysm, which is a great line. Yeah. I love Emily Gilmore.
She's fun.
I love Kelly Bishop. I love Emily Gilmore. Like, I also hate Emily Gilmore because she's everything that's stuck up and obnoxious, but she can deliver those jokes just straight-faced and beautiful.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's that episode. Do you have more?
No, I liked this episode a lot more than I liked. I also love that when Rory was on her way to school, she's like, bye, going to school. And she turns around and it's just woods. That goes with my theme of like, where are they? She has to crawl through the woods to get to school. But anyway, I like this episode a lot more than Deer Hunters, episode 4. I'm giving this one like an 8.2.
I'm so surprised because the entire time I'm watching with you, I'm like, is there anything happening? Because
well, this just shows like how awkward everyone is. It's great. And
I love it.
And then they did the mirror, like the mom and the daughter are both finding new dudes.
I'm so glad. Okay, I'm glad.
And I like, and we didn't give a shout out to Patty in this episode, who starts off very inappropriately with Rory about fruit is sensual, which is an odd thing to say to anyone, let alone a 16-year-old. But yeah, she's just great every time she's on screen. Love her. Love Patty. Want the Patty show? More Patty.
Well, actually, this is a great time to transition into trivia. All right. This one is episode 5, Cinnamon's Wake, which I don't like that you knew the title before.
It came up on when we were playing it. I should make a point not to look.
No, you know what? We should make a point to just label it something different, because as soon as Cinnamon was on screen, you're like, oh, Cinnamon's gonna die. I'm like, okay, great. At least it wasn't a human, because then it would
whenever they show a cat in a carriage on a screen, you're like, that cat's dead.
I didn't know that, but I will note that for future watches. But so the original date is Thursday, November 2nd, the year's 2000. And my first question to you is, what fun real life connection do Sally Struthers, who is Babette, and Ted Rooney, who's Maury, her husband, share from their hometown of Portland, Oregon?
Whoa. They're both from Portland?
Mm-hmm.
And so what was the question? What do they share? What?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They both own boats.
No. Any other?
They both did shrooms together.
I believe that. I believe it. I want to just leave it there.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Miss Struthers. Well, they both grew up in Portland and went to the same high school.
Ah.
And they didn't attend in the same years. They attended like different years apart. But Ted's dad was one of Sally's teachers. So when they met on the Gilmore Girls set, Sally recognized Ted as as his son.
Whoa.
Yeah. So she didn't really even know him in high school because they were in different grades at different times.
That's wild.
But she knew his dad.
What fun.
Meeting on
the set of this new show.
Yeah. Okay, oh my God. I could not wait. I knew I was going to ask you this question. Does the assistant manager at Dosey's Market look familiar to you?
Yes. Wait, that was the young kid who confronted Patty?
Yes.
Yes. Who is that?
Please, you must start calling her Miss Patty, or I will be very offended.
Oh, it's Miss Patty. I'm sorry.
It's Miss Patty. Yes.
I'm sorry. I apologize. Truly. That guy, that kid, did look familiar. Who the hell is that? Wait, can I tell you who he reminded me of?
Okay.
No, the timing's all wrong. It couldn't be him. Who is it? Why am I going crazy?
I love it. Okay. His name is Sean Gunn, and he was the DSL installer. He was Mick, he was
the same dude.
He was the Swan Man.
Swan Man, DSL guy.
And now he's Kirk,
and
the
I recognized
assistant manager
from the other 2 episodes, but I couldn't place him. Oh my fucking God.
How funny is that?
This is the worst.
I couldn't wait. I'm like, oh, this is going to be so
Did you
great.
know? You knew that before, though?
Well, I watched the show a million times, so I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
But is this the last character? Should I be on the, don't answer, because I want to be on the lookout for this actor again.
Well, so he came in, it's so strange. Like, we've talked about how, Paris originally tried out for Rory, and then they made up this character. There's like a lot of that seems to be going on. So Amy Sherman-Palladino, the creator, she thought she liked Sean and thought it would be funny to have the same actor again and again for these small characters.
I love it. I'm all for it. And I can't wait because it's like a little Easter egg that I now can look for. Now that it's 3, that's insane. And I'm going to be looking for it.
We're on
Why
episode
couldn't I
5.
place him? He had a hat on last time or something. Like, I was like, how do I know that guy? How do I know that guy? And I figured it was an actor who became someone. Mm-hmm. Because it's 25 years ago.
As an actor, how fun that must have been to be called back again. And you get to play a different character. And at the time, people weren't binging. So, like, you don't remember the random swan guy, just like we're not remembering. I love it. Okay.
I love it. I love it too. Here's
perfect. Another one. And this is about Sally Struthers again, Babette. Okay. Sally Struthers and Liz Torres, who's Miss Patty, were characters on what popular 1970s sitcom? Now, at the time, when I first watched Gilmore Girls, Sally Struthers was the only person that I recognized as famous to me. I was like, oh my God, Sally Struthers is in this.
But I only know her from
Sally Struthers. I don't know anybody's name. I call her by her acting name, her character name, so I don't want to say that.
Oh. But 1970s.
So you don't recognize her?
Sally Struthers. Yeah, I know. She's also the only actress I knew.
Isn't it Sally Struthers? Yeah, it's Sally Struthers. Why did I write it with no S? Okay, I'm like, why am I?
You only want one Struther. You're saving it.
All right.
No, she's the only famous. But I only know her from those infomercials, and that she kind of went crazy later.
Did she?
Didn't she kind of go crazy? Did she do something crazy?
I don't remember.
Oh, I'll apologize if I'm wrong, but I think she did something weird later. Maybe I'm thinking of Victoria Jackson. Anyway,
1970s sitcom, both Sally Struthers and Liz Torres. Although I gotta say, I did not recognize Liz Torres, and even after I looked it up, I was like, she wasn't like a main character, but Sally Struthers definitely was.
It's like the Carol Burnett show. That's not a sitcom. Is it a sitcom?
It's a sitcom. It's an actual sitcom.
An actual sitcom.
And when you think about it, how many were there?
I know. I'm like Archie. Like
yes.
Was it Archie?
Yeah.
Or
All in the Family. Yes.
Oh my God.
That's so funny.
I just named a sitcom from the 70s. Holy
She was
crap.
the daughter.
Sally Struthers was the daughter.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Holy crap. I forgot that.
So for those who don't know what All in the Family is, it's a show that you cannot watch now. Everything has been canceled from every line of every word they spoke in that show. You cannot watch it anymore. I'm talking about people being called names and words that we now only have letters for. This was, I didn't know, like I learned the word honky. That's derogatory for white person. And
you can't say the H word. I put All in the Family in that category of show, and there's a few of them. There's a lot of them, actually, where the main character, the main role, made me uncomfortable.
Well, I think he was meant to.
Right. But there were lots of shows, and like I Love Lucy's in that, where like Ricky's kind of an asshole, and like, oh The honeymooners are in that category.
Oh God, the
where,
honeymooners.
Like, you just know that he beats the hell out of her. You know, like, it's just awful.
Bang, zoom.
Yeah, like just threatening to punch her in the face all the time is like a comedy. And like I put All in the Family in that same category where I'm like, why is she's like in an abusive relationship, you know?
And that was, I believe, a solid depiction of
that's how we did it in the 70s, and nobody said nothing. It's a better time.
They were a family in Queens, and then the Jeffersons moved in like next door or something.
That's Jeffersons were black.
Yeah, and that's where they had the spin-off.
I found the Jeffersons much more fun to watch as a kid because he wasn't pretending he was going to kill her every second.
I know, right?
It was so painful. I'm like,
I mean, I'm sure it still was like some of that dynamic because they're not immune to it, but it was much. I mean, but then what is that? Mad About You started coming out. So the women's roles on sitcoms did start changing a little bit as women were allowed to speak in their relationships.
Oh my God!
Sorry, that is how it was. That is how it was.
They're like, I can choose to not be with you if you threaten to punch me in every scene.
She hated him. The honeymooners hated him.
Yeah. I can't imagine why.
I didn't think that show was funny at all.
I thought it was violent, and I was like uncomfortable. And my mom's defense of that is he never hits her, and I was like, that is not a flex, like. Right, because it's so wildly uncomfortable to watch a man threaten to punch a woman again and again and again. And my mom's like, well, she stands up to him. I'm like, no.
She was considered a woman who stood up for herself and talked back. Yeah. So she was considered a more empowered, talky woman.
But nowadays, right, because she was strong. She would stand up to him. But nowadays, we would gather her and be like, you have to leave this man.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, they didn't like each other at all, but it always ended with
script.
Yeah.
I mean, anyway. So there's a few of those shows that
of course,
like,
yeah.
And I love Lucy. I love Lucy, but even I was like, Ricky needs to calm down.
Like, I liked All in the Family. They did not like All in the Family. They hit on a lot of stuff that other people were staying away from, avoiding the draft. They talked about it openly. What else? Just the difference
between...
Doesn't
Edith get raped in one episode?
They talked about sexual harassment.
Assault.
Yeah, sexual assault.
And black people moving next door. There was a few others.
They just... interpersonal relationships. They were pretty...
they were progressive
liberal.
For the time.
Yes.
Right. And then we're all supposed to like communally acknowledge that like Archie's the jerk. And like everyone around him, and Sally Struthers, the daughter, and she had the boyfriend or the husband, I guess, a husband
who was a hippie.
Who was a hippie.
But what they did was they sometimes showed that the hippie goes too far, you know, like just because they were. But anyway, we're getting into this whole All in the Family. You can't watch it. Clutch your pearls. Here we go.
So I don't think I checked anything off of our little images this time. Unless the hamburger they're eating is the hamburger that is that the hamburger?
I mean, I don't know, like if I don't want to tell you, but like there's not a specific hamburger.
All right.
So I guess, yes, I think every hamburger, you will see how you feel about burgers within a few more episodes. Okay? Can we do that?
Sounds good. Okay. I'll leave it. I'm hoping that...
Oh, wait, so are we going into predictions?
Yes, I'm predicting.
Let's go into predictions.
I think more is obviously going to happen with the Max character. I kind of wanted to get more into the Paris thing. We haven't seen Paris in like episodes and episodes. Oh, wait, no, since last episode. Deer Hunter, we did see her.
Oh yeah, she
whispers Shakespeare in the
memorable.
That episode was so painful for me for some reason. School is so boring.
You want to get back to Paris, but we're going to have to go back to school if we see
but
Paris.
I don't want the schooling part of school. I want the relational part of school. I don't want the classroom part of school. I want the hallway part of school.
So you want more Paris?
Yeah.
Okay.
And like, since I was bullied as a kid, I want to see how Rory handles it. because she seems to be doing okay. I also, Luke calmed down. No, Luke was a maniac, but also Sookie should not have gotten behind the counter.
Of course not.
So I still want to develop the Luke character. Oh, we didn't even talk about how Michael doesn't want it. Michelle does not want his job. Like, she's like, go speak French to those people. And he's like, no, I will not. What does he, like, how is he still employed?
The only thing I could say is, one, it's a very specific sense of humor, like I said before. And two, I think Lorelai likes surrounding herself with biting people.
With snarky people?
Yeah.
So anyway, I want to see more. I think Luke comes up again. And
he was there at the funeral, and it was like he was sitting at the piano. Like he was the most relaxed,
empathetic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I predict that's coming up again. They softened him like a smidge.
Although all he did was fight with Sookie, but okay.
No, but then he showed up to the cat funeral with food.
Yeah.
And like sat on the piano.
Yeah.
And like had a good reason to yell at Sookie this time.
Yeah.
Because she went behind the counter and then started putting crap on people's food for them. What in the hell? Nobody says anything. Nobody says anything. Everyone's used to this. This crazy woman.
At least she didn't light it on fire.
Yeah, that's true. I'm looking forward to episode 6.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Can't wait.
Let us know what you think. Why don't you say goodnight again? Because that was fun the last time.
What did I do last time? Good night, everybody.
Good night.
So long and good night. Bye, everybody. Thanks for listening.